Hello, my dear friends. It is me, it is Julie. Welcome to my channel if you're new, or welcome back if you are not. I'm turning on the camera to share because I don't know how much longer I'll be living where I've been living. I think that I need to leave sooner rather than later. My situation has become honestly kind of unbearable. So, yeah, this might be the last time that you see me in this spot or close to the last time. I don't know. But yeah, I feel a lot of things about this. I feel like I'm just really thinking about the natural human. Ooh, is that a little butterfly moth? What is that? I'm thinking a lot about the natural human inclination we have to be afraid of change, even when it's really what is best for us and what would truly help us grow. And I believe in God and I believe in his plan. I believe in his timing. I believe that he does what is best for us. And I mean, especially if you ask him, especially if you send out a prayer. And in my case, I put myself in a position that I really don't ever want to put myself in again unless I'm married and married to a man that I really trust his character and know that he will not kind of take advantage of my trust in a way. But until then, I really have to kind of go out there again and be able to stand on my own 2 feet again. If you watched my last video, which is titled Unequally Yoked or Struggling with Sin, question mark, I spoke about the perils of trying to be in an interfaith relationship and just even trying to be with somebody who is biblically considered to be unequally yoked, aka not in Christ. So I don't know, when you decide to do something that God is calling you to do, a lot of people will not understand why you're doing it, and that very well may include the significant other that you were previously, seeing or planning to marry. I honestly thank God that he did not allow me to marry that man. But I just really feel called to take a jump, to take a leap, to take a risk, even to go somewhere where I feel like God is literally laying out the carpet for me to go to. One of the biggest problems I was having, and just because I've known that I wanted to leave here for a while already, I was just trying to figure out how to logistically do so. And I feel like a lot of girls can probably relate to this. When I was seeing the man that I was seeing, and I moved up here to be closer to him, and we thought we were going to get married, I left my job and I left my family and everything else behind in the other state that I was living. And now I see, how much of a blessing it is that God just did not allow us to move forward in that regard, because it would be so much harder if I was legally bound to this person or, had any thicker roots in this area, which I really don't. Praise God. So if you're in a situation like that, where things didn't work out, but you are legally bound, or things aren't working out, but you're legally bound, I really feel for you. And I pray that, God comes through for you and what is truly best for you and everyone around you, because that's just been really hard. So I saw somebody who said something, I don't know if it was on TikTok or where it was, but I saw this woman and she was saying that if you choose to settle in the phase that you're in, if you're in a phase that, honestly, you're not happy, you don't really feel like this is necessarily God's will for you, but you choose to kind of override that and you choose to settle in that space because maybe you have some level of comfort or some level of love or some kind of provision or something, then you will be teaching your kids that that's what you do. You are kind of creating a generational thought process that becomes kind of subconscious. And so I feel like that's a really big deal. But even just for myself right now, there's been so many moments feeling like I just don't belong here. I didn't ever really feel like I belonged here exactly where I am in the region that I'm in right now, even though it's not that far away from where I'm actually from. But it's really interesting how, as somebody who has kind of moved around a lot in my 20s so far, I have lived in different regions of the country, of the US, and different regions have a certain feeling to them and they have a certain culture to them, even if it's still within the same country, within the United States. Like so far, I've lived in New York City, I have lived in the Jersey Shore, I have lived in Las Vegas and California, and spent some time in Connecticut and Massachusetts. So those are all like pretty different regions. And they all really do have a different feeling to them, and people are different in those areas. And I don't know. I just haven't really known logistically how to leave easily in a very logical way, in the normal way of, okay, you find an apartment and you pay, first, last, and security. And sometimes you even need to show proof that you make 40 times the rent. And, you need a good credit score and your files and your this and your that. And you need money then to move. And then you need maybe even new furniture. Like I've done that twice already in my 20s, like a full on independent adult type of move. Each time I just kind of made it, and it was very hard for me to maintain what I had acquired, just being more of an entrepreneurial artistic person. I have had normal 9 to 5 jobs too, but that was kind of before I embarked on this whole journey that I've been on for the last few years, and now I'm on a kind of a new leg of this journey where thankfully I found God, or God found me, or I finally got to a place here where I am, where because of all those negative things, because of, the despair of a potential marriage, potential family life just falling apart, the despair of not really having a community here, feeling like I belong or I fit in or like anybody kind of understands me. I mean, I think God finds you in those moments when you are kind of at your bottom in a way. That's when you finally reach up and make contact with him in a way. You're not going to necessarily do that when everything is going amazingly. So, I don't know. This is kind of like a cautionary tale. I think a lot of girls get themselves into these situations and they don't want to talk about it because it's embarrassing and it makes you feel so stupid. The worst part about it, honestly, is me feeling like I am just so stupid for making the choice that I made. But at the same time, I can't fault myself. I know myself. I know my hopes and dreams, whatever. So other people are in similar situations as you, and especially these kind of situations that other people will not talk about. I don't know. I just feel compelled to talk about them because I kind of don't feel like I have anything to lose in a way. Like that is kind of the plus side of feeling like I need to completely start over. I keep thinking about the verse in the Bible where Jesus says, you'll need to lose your life to find it, and anybody who tries to hold on to their life will lose it. And I saw this video of this other girl which really spoke to me, and she used to be a dancer, she was a stripper, and she found Jesus, and she pretty much immediately felt like she had to stop dancing, she had to stop doing OF, whatever. And she lost her apartment, she lost all of her money, she became completely broke, she became homeless. And she was talking about like a lot of people keep telling me to just go back to what I was doing before just to make money. But she was saying, yeah, when you are kind of in cahoots with the devil in a way, yeah, things will look really nice from the outside. Yeah, you'll be able to make money real easily. You'll be able to take care of your bills real easily because especially as a girl, if you're willing to sell your body for money or anything in that realm, yeah, you can make money easily and a lot of it and very fast. But it doesn't mean that you're not pretty much selling your soul. And there's a feeling that comes along with that. Even for the very small percentage of that which I've experienced as being, a past sugar baby, there's a feeling that comes along with that that is not quelled by the money that you're making, right? So I can understand those girls in a way. Like I have a little tiny bit of experience in that kind of realm. Like I worked in a strip club for literally 1 day as a door girl, and I didn't realize one, it would require a lot of math, like quick thinking math on my end, which I was like, oh, I'm not good at that. And secondly, I didn't realize that I would be kind of like computering people into private rooms, which pretty much means supporting prostitution. So I was like, oh. So I literally quit that night. I worked for one night. as a door girl, and then I was like, yeah. And I think at that time it's because I was working office jobs, I was working 9 to 5, and I just kind of felt, I don't know, like I just felt curious about seeing the kind of darker realms of life or whatever. And it really only took me one singular shift to be like, yeah, no, I don't think this is for me. But anyway, that girl who used to be in that world and whatever, she was saying, yeah, when you commit your life to Jesus, you will definitely have to give up a lot of aspects of your old life. You might even literally lose everything and have to start over again. And that's pretty much what's happening to me. At this point, I don't have a whole lot aside from my belongings and my kitties and God, my Bible, and just putting my absolute faith and trust in Him that He is leading me somewhere good. And even though it requires me to take a jump, to take a risk, to break out of the comfort that I have kind of found myself in here, even though it's not been all sunshine and roses by any means, like as humans, I feel like we adapt to our circumstances and we learn to make the best of them. At least I do. Like I am kind of a chameleon in a way. I can kind of live anywhere and kind of make it work. I've lived in a lot of different types of living situations and a lot of different kind of class situations in a way, and I've been a lot of different regions, and so I don't know, but yeah, there's a part of me that obviously really looks forward to, one day finding my home. Like where is home? Like, that's something I think about a lot. I know as a follower of Christ that heaven is our ultimate home. We are citizens of heaven having a temporary experience on this earth, and I feel like that's probably a part of the reason why a lot of experiences on earth, being in a human body, are not necessarily always pleasant. A lot of times there's a lot of pain and kind of suffering and tragedy and violence and turmoil and war and all this stuff that kind of makes it clear to us that yeah, this is not all there is. There is more than this. And I feel like that's what causes a lot of pain sometimes, at least for me, of just I want to be where things are peaceful and I feel genuinely content and happy and at one with God, and I know that that's heaven. So at least there's that. Like I definitely feel a lot better than I did this time last year. And I was on my way to moving here, but I was putting a lot of my eggs in a worldly basket of getting married and starting a family and having these kind of status symbols, having land and a nice house and all that stuff, which is just like it's not really the point. It's obviously those are really beautiful things to have, but when you're going at it from the stance of you just kind of want to check those boxes off, you kind of just want to be in those ranks, you kind of just want to feel safe and secure, and you just want to be out of the dating pool. That was what was kind of driving me, like to be completely honest with you. And obviously you get in what you put out, and if you kind of are doing things from this superficial sort of way, that's the kind of experience you're gonna have. That's what I've learned. And that's why, as much as I find women like Shira7, the Sprinkle Sprinkle Lady, to be entertaining, I don't live by her ideology because if you go after a relationship in a transactional way, you will find yourself the most transactional man, and that feels absolutely terrible. Like, I don't know, I don't care what the situation is, if he's providing you with a mansion and a yacht and the most beautiful, you will adjust. You will adapt to having the most beautiful scenery at your home. You will adapt to living in a mansion. You will adapt to having money. It's not going to make you happy. It's not going to fill the void of having true love or at least being truly seen and cared for. It's just not. Like that stuff will never ever fulfill you the way that simply even just having a relationship with God will fulfill you, never mind anything else. That alone has at least made me feel like I know I have God. I know that He's looking out for me. I know that He has said He will never leave me nor forsake me, and He never has. Even when I was not walking with Him, He blessed me with miracles. He got me out of multiple pinches. He has always been there for me, even when I didn't deserve it. And I don't even know if I deserve it now. I don't think we almost ever deserve His grace and mercy. We really don't deserve it at all. We're not entitled to it. So that's what makes it so glorious and incredible and amazing that He gives it to us anyway. That He loves us anyway. That's gonna make me cry. Like, why even? It's something I think about. I mean, of course, I guess you love your creations, you love your children and whatever, but like, wow, I don't think we even deserve it. And so that really makes me pretty emotional because the last few days, where I've been living, things got pretty bad, and I was really just trying to figure out what I should do and how to do it. And I asked God to help me and to guide me and just please like help me get out of here because I just don't know how to. Crying on the tube, crying on the YouTube. Okay, here we go. First time crying on the tube. Here we go. Took me a few videos. But I'm here. Okay, so yeah. Last night after I got done praying and crying and just giving it all to God essentially, which is really where he loves us the most. He loves us when we just come to him as we are and we're like, "Hey, please help," right? Knock and the door will be open to you. Ask and it is given, right? So I opened my Bible and I opened up to a chapter in Second Kings where I had left off days ago. I hadn't read the Old Testament in quite a few days. And of course, exactly where I had left off. I don't know exactly what chapter and verse it is in Second Kings off the top of my head, but it was when Isaiah was talking to one of the kings of the time. And Isaiah was a prophet. He spoke for God and he said, "Thus says the Lord, I have heard your prayers, I have seen your tears, and I will heal you." I was like, okay, wow. And then the next verse following that I underlined was, "This is your sign from the Lord that he will do as he promised." I was like, okay. I literally just had to be like, okay, wow. I had to just. You ever read a verse in the Bible that speaks to you so intensely that you just gotta have to stop right there, go to sleep for the night, and fall asleep digesting that verse? Because I was like, wow. I mean, the Bible is a very expansive book. I could have left off anywhere. I could have decided to read. I was also reading Job. I've also been reading First Corinthians. I could have been anywhere else, right, in the Bible, but I knew I needed to go back to Second Kings. And then the very next day, my friend, pretty much out of nowhere, offers me a house that I can go live in, essentially for free, with connections to get a job and a car and all the things that I've been needing to do. And it's in a totally different region of the US that I've never been to before. And it's more south than I am now. That's all the hints I'm going to give you for now. But I've been wanting to move more south, so that's really interesting. So yeah, all of that's been happening. And today I'm just, I mean, that just happened today. So I'm kind of like shaking and I'm kind of terrified, like a little chihuahua. But I kind of know in my heart, despite my fear, that it's what's right. And I need to just take the leap and I need to take the risk. And I know that on the other side, I mean, honestly, it can't get any worse than what I've been dealing with here. I know that things may look a certain way on the outside, and for most people online, that's the case. They don't show you everything, right? And most people are too embarrassed to show you everything. I kind of show you as much as a person possibly can, in the sense that I don't know what compels me to be so open and honest on YouTube. But you know what? I know what compels me to. It's because I know that it will help somebody else. I know that if you're out there and you've been struggling with the things that I've been struggling with, whew, they are hard to talk about. They are hard to admit. They are just, I don't know, they're so layered and they're just so challenging to talk about, and so I don't feel like a lot of people do. So it's really easy to feel alone and like you're the only person who has made these kind of choices and found themselves on the other end where it didn't work out and now they're like, whoopsie, and they got to start all over. And I just think it's so interesting that I've just seen so many people saying, when you come to Jesus, you might lose everything. You might lose absolutely everything in order to pick up your cross and follow him. And it's worth it. I can honestly say, as somebody who's in the midst of losing everything and having to start all over again from scratch at 28 years old, which I know 28 is not old by any means, but there's a lot of obsession with youth in our culture that makes you feel like if you're not like Billie Eilish by the time you're 18 years old, then you failed, which is just insane and not true at all. Because if you're blessed enough to have older relatives, older friends, grandparents, whatever it may be, and you ask them if you're old in your late 20s, in your 30s, even in your 40s, your 50s, like wherever you're at. Listen, it's not over until it's over, baby. That's something my mom always says, and I love her for that. So, I don't know if I got anything kind of cohesive in this, but what I'm trying to say is that if you're out there and you're in a period of time where you need to make some changes, you are honestly terrified to do so. You have gotten comfortable. You know that these changes will be good for you. You know that you just need to do these things and you will be so much better off, but you've gotten comfortable or complacent and you're scared. You're scared to make the jump. You're scared to take the risk. You're scared to even conquer your fears and kind of, hop over to the next phase of your life. I feel you. I feel you so much that you can't even imagine how much I feel you. But if you're on this channel, then there's a very good chance that you are walking with God. He always has you. He will never abandon you. He will never forsake you. He will never lead you in the wrong direction. Ultimately, His plan is good. His timing is good. His mercy is good. If you are watching this and you have been saved, you know that you have been saved by the Spirit. How good is He? Even that alone, what He did for us by sending His Son for our sins. We didn't deserve that at all. Even that alone would be enough to be grateful for a lifetime. But we're humans. We have earthly needs. And I love that verse in the Bible too, where Jesus talks about, he clothes, he clothes the fields and the lilies and he takes care of the birds. Why do you think you're not going to be taken care of? What makes you think you're not even more valuable? It's definitely a paraphrase. But I think about that and I think about how, yeah, a lot of times when we find Christ and we feel compelled to pick up our cross and follow him, we might lose everything. We might have to start over from completely from scratch. And that is terrifying. That takes a lot of courage and bravery and resilience and faith and just trust that is for the best, that your slate is being wiped clean for a reason, and ultimately you will look back on this period of time with so much joy, with so much gladness. I guarantee you, and I know that even for myself, as scared as I am right now, honestly, like I could start crying, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to. But I know that me and you, we will look back on this period of time where we needed to make this leap and we were scared and we were just putting all of our faith into God and His timing and His plan. We will look back and we will laugh and be like, God, you are so good. And I understand exactly why that had to happen. I understand exactly why I needed to go through that. And I genuinely pray that we all, you, me, we end up in a place where we are truly fulfilled and living a life with God every day. So that's all I can ask for at this point. Kind of all I can contribute at this point. It's been a pretty challenging few days for me. You might be able to tell by my appearance. I try to look a little more presentable usually, but whatever. I don't care. It's just you guys. I don't know why I feel like so laissez-faire about strangers on the internet, but I don't feel like you guys are strangers. I don't know why. So yeah, it is getting cold. The sun is officially setting. My usual cue, as you may or may not know. And I guess I'm gonna head back in for the evening, make some dinner, and just try to calm down. Just try to be chill, prepare, and pray and have faith. So that is my message for you today. I hope it uplifted you or encouraged you or comforted you. Please, let me know in the comments if you can relate, if you're going through something similar. You never know if, sharing your experience down below in the comments will help somebody else who happens upon this video and reads it. You never know who will resonate with your story, right? So I encourage you to do that. And yeah, please keep me in your prayers. I need courage and I need ongoing faith to make this leap. So thank you so much for watching and listening, and I hope you have a great rest of your day or night. Okay.